hairy game lads this evening have been playing this Bella Vista from Studio H, courtesy of Hachette Games. What did we think? Stay tuned. Look how beautiful that is. Look at our vista.
We built this city.
We did.
We did.
Next to parks.
Not on rock and roll now.
No.
Oh, man.
So, this game, right, has only just come out. Aircon. Some of us went to Aircon, didn't we?
Really? 75% attendance from this row.
There we go. And this game was on the Hachette stand and it was being reviewed or demoed all weekend. Did we get a demo in? No. But we have been given a copy to have a look at now. And first of all, James, did you like the fact that...
Oh, the 3D buildings. Right, so you open up the thing. It's all in this nicely organised tray. Very nice.
How's it all going to fit in there?
I don't know. I picked it off the top.
Do you have to like...
Where's the
down?
stuff? Where are the buildings? And then they say to me, James, there's a drawer. It's like a beauty product.
Oh, my word, look at the colours. Look at the colours.
Not only colours, your buildings fit in there, and it tells you how to put them back.
Oh, my word.
So you mean we're not going to have to, spend 3 hours trying to figure out how to put all the buildings back?
We'll find a way. Oh, it even holds the cards for each player as well. So, my first thought was, how much is this game? Because,
and see all of these buildings that are 4 sides, a top.
Classic buildings.
Classic. Oh no, we can't play the game. We've got to spend 3 hours putting the game together.
No, we don't.
No, you don't.
I'm looking at you, heroes of Blandair and Sea.
They are already built. How many times have you opened a game and spent the next 4 hours putting stuff together? I mean, Pete's in his element doing that, but I really hate it.
Build the cardboard. Yeah, so
I'll tell you what,
it's amazing.
Pre-built's awesome.
In terms of the game itself, very, very quickly, replayability in terms of the map, if you like, your kind of town plan, you can change that every time. It's modular and slightly strange shapes with little parks that you can fill in. So you set your map up to start with. You're then basically bidding. You're bidding for turn order. And you're blindly placing the different sizes of buildings down. So you're blind for everybody else. So nobody else knows what building you're bidding to play for.
You only have 8.
And you only have 8 buildings, and everybody's got the same 8 size. Each building is the same size and has got the same footprint in terms of... So each person's 1 building is a 4 square, for example. Each person's 7 buildings is going to take 1 square. There you get points for placement. So if you're the tallest building in your area, as in adjacent to anything, you're going to get 3 points, and you're going to get 1 point for every other building that you're adjacent to that you're taller than. So choosing when you place, you can get some cash, which is important when you're bidding, because to bid to be first obviously costs more money, and that money at the end is going to equate to points.
Yeah.
There are going to be a set of contracts out, 4 contracts out. Is that just for 4 players, or 4 players for every game?
4 every game, I think.
So you're going to have 4 contracts out, which are various things that you've got to try and achieve. It might be placing in 2 different colours of the area, having 2 buildings on the same type of area,
being next to a park.
And you're going to get various amounts of money again for those, which you're going to store up throughout the game. And then at the end of the game, you'll have been playing for 2 key end game scoring things, which are various different ones. In our game, we got points for the biggest cluster and points for being having tall buildings next to parks got you more points. The only other thing that changes is each round there's going to be a kind of restriction on where or how you're going to build, which can really scupper your plans. And you've got because you might be after a specific contract, but you can't build in that space this turn or the next turn, and so you've got to be able to be flexible. And in terms of when we got to the end and you're sort of totting up all the points at the end of the game, I think a lot of people thought there were. Well, to be fair, a lot of people thought I was suggesting I was running away with it, end game scoring Pete, as I am sometimes now. But to be honest, it was brutally close, and in fact required a recount at the top end, and then it came down to the tiebreaker. So we were all very closely clustered, which for a short game with a fair bit going on, to be all of us played slightly differently, went after different things, to be so closely, it's really nice that it was that tight.
Yeah, I love the way that it's.
I'll be honest,
short.
I hated that it was that tight because I lost the tiebreaker. So
because you blew all your points.
Well, on the recount, I mean, like I had won. I was like, yes, I've won twice in one night.
Doesn't happen.
Never happens. But then the recount,
came third.
Yeah,
but by like 2 points.
But I beat James still.
I'm saying James also played.
And James, you're usually you usually boss
spatial
these
stuff.
kind of games.
So that's the thing. I think my thing with this game is one of the greatest strengths of it is its incredible table presence. Like it
looks lovely,
really cool. But I noticed, and it wasn't just me. It's hard to read it because you can't see past buildings. Because for example, I had one where I bid high. And I was like, I'm going to get my building down. It's going to be amazing. And then I placed it, and they're like, James, there's not even a part of tile there. And I couldn't see it because it was like behind buildings. I was like, oh, flipping heck. So it's hard. And actually, at the end of the game, some of the guys didn't even realise there was a tiny park here helping them get an extra 7, 8, I don't know how many points. Yeah. So I think its greatest strength is it's so cool to play with and look at, but it just makes it really hard to see past, I think.
Yeah. I think that's probably an experience thing as well. Because it was our first
Is it because you're old?
play. No, it was our first play, so you're not knowing and to be aware of stuff like that. Because there's definitely things that I would do different next time.
It is beautiful though on the table. The colours that they've chosen for the buildings work really well.
Yeah, they
really pop. Even the artwork on the buildings,
tiny
so
details.
Nice. I just love the attention to detail, and I feel like on the buildings there's like graffiti of
there's all sorts
certain characters from probably other. I feel like it's from other games. I don't feel like I'm dreaming. I feel like it is from other games. But I love all of that. I just think it's so cool.
Yeah, it does really look nice.
And the buildings have such character.
Oh man, so much.
So much. So yeah, I really liked it. I also like the way it doesn't outstay its welcome. It is 8 rounds. You've got 8 buildings. You've got to place them in the best places where you can score those points for those contracts, because actually they're really helpful. They've got some big big points on them, but also the whole thing of trying to like that end thing. Like I didn't really get it, and then right near the end I was like, crap, I need to like put some of my buildings together.
But if you're also, I mean, we got 80 points, 90 points. But if you're then bidding 7 points effectively every turn to go first,
you're almost losing a contract.
A lot of points.
Most of the contracts are somewhere in the region of £7 to about £10.
Yep.
So if you're going for a contract for 9 and you've spent 7 to get it, actually you've only gained 2 points. You might have gained placing somewhere different that doesn't gain you a contract, but is worth 4 or 6 points at the end of the game and is free. Might be a better. I can see how you could really get, the more you get used to the game in terms of you could,
when it's time to really go for it.
And one of the things that we kind of we jarred with was like, it frustrates in games where you're like, oh, I've already done that thing, so I'm just going to claim it. But actually, you can only claim one thing at a time, and it's based on turn order. So, like, you've got that extra thing of like, I want to go earlier so that I can claim that thing before that other guy does it. So that was a really nice use of.
So there's a lot of balancing.
What you're doing. Really nice. The all of the components are super nice. The money, I love it. It looks like it's super. It looks like it's super chunky. It feels chunky. The artwork on the cards is like the artwork on the buildings. It's really nice.
It's a lovely package.
I mean, it says it takes 35 minutes on the box, and I can feel it. I mean, it was a teach game.
We learned again. We literally had the instructions out, and I think
going along.
From opening the box to finishing the game was about an hour, and that included learning the game from the very start,
which is amazing.
In fact,
really.
Unboxing to start with.
Yeah.
And one thing that is interesting, so like as we were doing it, it says like take out the 2-player stuff, and it's got this tiny little symbol. And like honestly, it's a really small symbol for the 2-player thing. But then once I'd done it all, I was like, oh, they're all organised together. Because we spent all this time looking for like, oh, which one are the 2-player roof tiles and which ones are the 2-player cards and like all that kind of stuff. And then once we started getting into the actual game, we're like, oh, completely get it, because each player's only got cards 1 to 8 and a starting card which holds the turn order. So like minimal kind of like needs for what you actually use.
And with the 2-player, you take another colours thing and put the red or blue. So you play as red and blue at 2-player. So you get 2 sets of red buildings, 2 sets of red cards, I assume. And so it will scale well at 2 as well, which I think is great.
Yeah, it does look like a knife fight in a phone booth for 2 players, because like you really got to jostle for space.
I don't know. It was like a knife fight in the phone booth for 4 players to be honest. Which is what you want from a game like this, really.
And I think somebody said earlier, like James, you were like, "Oh man, it feels like an expensive game because of the way it's all packaged together and the look of it." But actually, I think it retails at about 30 quid,
which really surprised
me. 30 quid is an absolute steal.
It's complete steal, isn't it? Yeah.
So I think in terms of key things you've got, I love a game that's got the sort of bid for turn order. I think it's a really nice mechanic.
And this warrants it,
and it works with this one. And then so if you play a low building, you're then first to bid, and you can decide where so you've got a bit more freedom at the start if you place a lower building. But if you went big with one of your higher buildings to try and get some more points, whatever. The flip side is you're more likely to be bidding lower in the turn order, but it's not going to cost you as much. So there's that.
But of course, what happens when you've only got big buildings left, Pete, and there's all...
no.
So I was hoping to absolutely max out and gain another 8 points on my score, and I'd got this building left, as had Dave. We'd got the same, but we were left with the same building, and really annoyingly. So I was trying to build in this area here, so I'd have loved to place in there and maxed out my final end game scoring. But this card got true, which was you need to place in either of the blue areas. And there was only one space in that blue area left for a 4-square building. Dave went first in turn order, so...
And that lost me the game, though.
Yeah, he paid severely for it.
The fact that I bid 7... to go first so I could place my building lost me the game.
There you go, Dave.
Because I got one... But again, I spent 7 points to go first, but actually placing the building only netted me 1 extra point.
We live and we learn.
Yes.
So Pete lost his turn.
No, he got more points than that because he connected his largest building.
No, I didn't, because these were... This is my largest area.
Oh, Dave, no! Okay.
So, yes. So maybe
going first isn't actually paying the points for going first.
So I couldn't even place my building had to live outside of the boundary of the city.
That's really frustrating because,
But I still won on the tiebreaker, so not so bad.
And on the
what about one question? I've been mulling this over all review. Really, is where would you see this fitting in terms of being able to introduce people to it? Because it feels quite light, but then actually there's quite a lot going on. It feels and looks light. So, so I think with people that have played a few games, you could quite easily.
I think the playing is
gateway
probably
plus,
easy.
isn't it? Is what I'd say. I don't know.
The playing is easy. I think the scoring decent points is probably quite difficult.
I think the thing that stretched my brain was you've got a few things to weigh up and juggle against each other, and so you've got to choose the height of your building, you've got to choose how much you're going to pay, you've got to choose what you're trying to chase after, you've got to choose something that fits the restrictions. And I caught myself out on that because I was like, sweet, I'm going to make this amazing down here. And I was like, oh, it's the parks one. And I paid a load to do it. For no avail. So I think, like, for a new gamer, that's a lot to hold in your head. If you're going to try and do it.
I think playing it is fine.
Yeah.
I think anybody could play it. I think it's quite difficult to maximise your scoring. So I don't think it's...
I think
that's
will come with
what it is.
replayability, isn't
Yeah.
it? And
Oh,
also,
yeah.
if you were doing it as a teach, say for instance to people who were completely clueless to this kind of thing, you would go through it. I think maybe you could leave out an element.
I mean, you could probably leave out the contract or
Yeah.
something like that and just go, this is
kind
how
of
you
like-
score.
so they
I'm
get
thinking-
that whole thing. But
For me, it's not much hard. A lot, if you think of most people, something like Carcassonne or A Ticket to Ride, is a lot of people's first or second
that's true.
foray into gaming. I don't think it's much more challenging than those.
no, that's very true.
And this is very cool.
And it's really cool. So I
That's
think you've got
really
the
good,
it looks great.
The
And so I
actual
think will grab people's attention anyway.
And it's a nice introduction to bidding for Turnover as well.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't think the rules aren't difficult. It's
quite a
the
thin
point
rule book.
scoring.
Yeah.
Is,
So yeah,
Yeah.
Gateway Plus.
Good
yeah.
call, I
Gateway
think.
Plus.
Gateway Plus.
Are we in favour?
Oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely loved it.
Yes.
It's been a lovely evening. We've had 2 games, quite different, both played in under an hour, both quite thinky enough. Absolutely brilliant. Godzilla.
Yeah.
There's always one.
James.
Just been thinking it all evening.
Right.